How about them Cowboys? Angry Cowboys fan. Born to battle. Storm just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the sun shines bright, that's where we win. Angry Cowboys fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And Cowboys Nation, there's this narrative when it comes to the dynamic duo for our Dallas Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. This narrative that some fans are trying to phase out CeeDee Lamb in favor of George Pickens. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all, Cowboys Nation, but I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all during this Raw and Uncut. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
I'm being keeping it real. They keep it real. That's real.
Cowboys Nation, if you are a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, you know how the rumor mill works, and you knew right from the giddy-up when the Dallas Cowboys traded for George Pickens that they would try to manufacture some type of narrative when it comes to our top wide receivers. Why? To sow division within the locker room. The thing is, when some Cowboys content creators try to tell you their perspective on the game and how to better this offense, people tend to take what's being said in a completely different light. When there's no need to read between the lines, fans read between the lines nonetheless. But there was this post from a guy who I consider on the Mount Rushmore of Cowboys content creators, and that's Law Nation. And we're going to take a look at the post that he put up on X about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and how Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer needs to target Pickens more. So let's go ahead and take a look at that over on the split screen, and then we're going to come back and unpack it with this Raw and Uncut. All right, Cowboys Nation, we are over here on the split screen looking at Law Nation Sports X account and the post that I'm talking about. I want to read the post for you. It says, #Cowboys. Dak Prescott, you are my guy. You have to start targeting George Pickens more. CeeDee Lamb, you are my guy too, but this is nothing personal. It is just math. As of November 12, 2025, George Pickens gives you a 130.3 passer rating when targeted. CeeDee Lamb gives you an 86.3 passer rating when targeted. Let's go ahead and look at this video, see what the video has to say, because I can guarantee you, he ain't lying.
Catches a game, 81 yards per game.
Prescott on play action, wide open.
Look at
Lamb. So
Look at
Pickens
that.
now Lamb.
Interesting.
But
On
he had
throws
three
to
people
Lamb,
around him.
Dak's rate is 84. To Pickens, 125. Makes a difference when you score more. Lamb only one touchdown so far. George
Bracketed.
with 6. 5.5 catches a game, 84 yards per game.
To the sideline and a first down catch by Pickens.
Dak, you my guy. You got to start targeting Pickens more.
Absolutely.
Lamb, you my guy, but you got to allow Pickens to get more targets. I get it. Pickens need to get more targets. The numbers, the stats, everything speaks for itself. Now, Granted, we like what you can do. I'm not trying to rage bait anything, but it is for what it is. Target Pickens. The stats speaks for itself.
He ain't lying.
Absolutely. The stats speak for themselves. And like my man from Coming to America said right there, Law Nation ain't lying. So let's go back over to the field so I can give y'all my raw and uncut on it. All right. I'm going to ask you a question, Cowboys Nation. When we have two great players on the Dallas Cowboys at the same position, why do we always either want to move on from said player or we want to compare them to each other? All Nation Sports Post was not doing this. From how I took it, he was simply making a point that during the Arizona Cardinals game, CeeDee Lamb got targeted more than George Pickens, even when CeeDee Lamb was double-teamed. Law Nation commented on Dak Prescott's QBR when targeting CeeDee Lamb and his QBR when targeting George Pickens. Dak Prescott's QBR is higher when he targeted George Pickens during the Arizona Cardinals game. Not because he thinks George Pickens is a better wide receiver than CeeDee Lamb or that George Pickens should be the wide receiver one. There are so many factors that come into play when it comes to this conclusion, like double teams and bracketing and coverages and so forth. But some fans took this post as a dig towards CeeDee Lamb when it comes to him being the wide receiver one, and it just is simply asking Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer to include George Pickens more in the scheme to be successful. Cowboys Nation, you made it known during the offseason that we truly needed a wide receiver two to pair with CeeDee Lamb. We banged on the table for someone to come to the Dallas Cowboys to help CeeDee Lamb and the whole wide receiving core. We didn't ask for the Dallas Cowboys to bring in a decoy so that CeeDee Lamb could get targeted more even when he's double teamed. George Pickens is worth way more than just a decoy, and it needs to be recognized on the field, because if it's not recognized, you may witness GP wanting out of the Dallas Cowboys organization during free agency just to be the main guy in a different organization. But we don't have to spam Lamb anymore like we did a couple years ago or even last year, because we have a true dog at the wide receiver two position, and it needs to be recognized in the play calling and scheme from Brian Schottenheimer and executed by Dak Prescott. I mean, I remember watching the Cowboys-Cardinals game live and asking myself, why weren't they throwing the ball down the field to George Pickens? Because he is a walking defensive pass interference. Like I said in my latest video, he's either coming down with the ball or he's getting flags thrown on the defense. But when you bring this to light, some Dallas Cowboys fans want to create controversy that truly doesn't exist. I mean, I honestly expect this from rival fan bases in order to try and sow division within the team and the locker room. But it's also Cowboys fans who are trying to do what the rival fan bases are doing. They're taking their job right from them and sowing the division themselves. Y'all do know that there is a world where two top players can coexist on the same team. I mean, just look at Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They come to mind when I think about this. There is a way to involve both of these top players in the offensive scheme, and it's up to Brian Schottenheimer to be able to unlock it. While CeeDee Lamb was hurt, we witnessed the abilities and talents that George Pickens possesses. The offense was putting up 40 points at home. CeeDee Lamb gets injected back into the offense, and we get beat at home, not being able to score more than 20 points. And I know, Cowboys Nation, that has nothing to do with CeeDee Lamb. It has everything to do with the offensive line holding up, giving Dak Prescott time in the pocket, as well as Brian Schottenheimer knowing how to use two premier wide receivers at the same time. So there's no need to manufacture any type of drama that isn't even there, Cowboys Nation. There is no Pickens versus Lamb drama. There's no Pickens versus Lamb wide receiver one situation. No one wants the Dallas Cowboys to move on from CeeDee Lamb and keep George Pickens. All we want is for Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott to use both of them equally. If CeeDee Lamb is double teamed, don't force the ball to him. Use the other weapons that you have out on the field. Scheme up plays that keep each one of your weapons involved in the scheme. Typical offensive coordinator stuff, Cowboys Nation. Defensive coordinators will try to take away the player that makes the most impact. Over the years, that's been CeeDee Lamb, so they're going to try to bracket and double team CeeDee Lamb. This is when the ball can be distributed to both of your playmakers. This is when the ball can be distributed to all of your playmakers on the field. This is when you make defenses pay for double teaming your wide receiver one by involving your wide receiver 2, 3, tight ends, and running back. And I completely understand that Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott want to get CeeDee Lamb involved after coming off of the injury. But in my opinion, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. If the offense was working when CeeDee Lamb was out due to injury, all you have to do is adjust the scheme to fit CeeDee Lamb. It doesn't have to be him versus Pickens or him or Pickens. It doesn't have to be Pickens is better than Lamb like Philadelphia Eagles fans would try to have you believe. It's all about coming up with schemes to maximize the greatness of both players. So, Law Nation, I completely get where you're coming from when you say get Pickens the ball more, because we will make defenses pay if we do so. When said defenses see George Pickens eaten, they will adjust their defensive scheme to try and double team or bracket George Pickens. And when that happens, you make them pay by targeting CeeDee Lamb and vice versa. If the defense has both of them on lock, which usually isn't the case, that's when you use your tight ends and your wide receiver 3. If they're trying to take away your pass, that means that the box is light and you make them pay with your run game and Javonte Williams. This isn't hard to scheme up, Cowboys Nation. All you have to do is execute. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about the manufacturer controversy when it comes to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? Do you think it's just people wanting to sow division within the Dallas Cowboys locker room? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share this content with people that are Dallas Cowboys fans, and if you're on your mobile device, make sure you hype the video. Doing so makes sure that we can get out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans. They see the content and want to join the Angry Cowboys fan family. But if you are DC for life and you want to see both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens destroy opposing secondaries, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdowns, or Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay. By all means, I am not trying to put words in the Law Nation's mouth, no diddy, but I do understand where he's coming from when it comes to him saying Dak and Brian Schottenheimer need to involve Pickens a little bit more in the offensive scheme. We know that CeeDee Lamb is a certified dog. Defenses know this as well, and that's when we get double teamed from the Arizona Cardinals and other defensive coordinators. Against the Las Vegas Raiders, let's get all our weapons involved on the field on the offensive side of the ball. If you do that, I bet my bottom dollar that our Dallas Cowboys will come out of that game victorious. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Happy Friday and going into the weekend, Cowboys Nation. And I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.